You're allowed to open up an MC legally, and then if as long as you're insured and did everything with the person you're leased onto, you are legally okay to run because
If
you're under
if
their
they do
authority.
it the correct way and actually are VIN
But
number
that's
leased
but
on
that's
their
what I said in
insurance,
my
and most of these
video.
guys don't do. I know you did, but most people don't do that.
No,
Carrier
it
mates
wasn't.
that
My,
you
my,
have,
my
but like,
channel, I started my channel to help small trucking companies and owner operators. So I kind of want to jump in. I mean, Steve, they probably know you better than me, but just you want to just introduce yourself just in case.
yeah, man, I'm Steve Best, obviously the owner of Nationwide Equipment Transportation. See me on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, but yeah, I've been doing this for over 20 years and just feel like there's a right way and a wrong way to enter this industry, and we just need to educate people on the right way to do it, and in the long run, it will help them, I think.
Well, I just kind of want to get into it because I listened to the video that you made, so I kind of broke it down into parts like I told you before we jumped on. So I kind of want to get into this a little bit. The first thing that I just want to bring up before we even get started is just like you said, it's a bad look on me, right? Which kind of like I don't know. I just found it like a little disrespectful that was being said because I don't think it's a bad look whatsoever. Because for one, there's nothing illegal about it. You know what I mean? All you're doing is aging your authority. You're not trying to trick anybody or anything. You're just trying to get the big brokers to get set up with you because you have like 3, 6, 12 months in order to work with the bigger companies. So I just think you could have maybe like went about it a little bit of a different way. You know what I mean? Than just saying like what I mean?
No,
Like
I
it's a
get
bad
you. I
look.
mean, I wasn't trying to disrespect anybody. I was just saying, like, for you and your brand, obviously trying to be an expert in the field, I think that there is a lot better way for people to enter this industry the right way, and how to run a company, and trying to age your MC is really not necessary, really, if you have the, knowledge about how owning a company works and how you don't become rich overnight. And, if you open I like to say, if you open a restaurant overnight and you don't do any marketing and you don't do any, people aren't going to come to you and they're not going to come and eat at your restaurant. Same thing being a driver
Yeah,
or,
but at a
or owner.
restaurant, you don't have suppliers that are going to be like, I can't work with you until you got 3 or 6 months or 12
Sure
months
there
under your
are.
belt.
Sure there are. Yeah, there are.
Well, no,
People
because
are
you could
not going
just
to
buy it
sell to
cash.
you.
Maybe credit
No,
extension.
well,
I
you
see
could do
what you're
cash,
saying.
right? I see what you're saying there,
Yeah.
but like, there's still I'm talking about the people that your customers are not going to. Just like a broker has to take 6 to 12 months to get a shipper on board. Sometimes it takes time to build a trucking company the right way, and you the way you're talking about doing it, you're commoditizing trucking, and so like you're telling your audience that if you get a truck, you're going to be able to work with everybody when you age your MC number, which isn't the case. People might or might not still want to work with you. And so, what are you doing as a business owner to differentiate yourself as a trucking company and not just be saying, I got a 53-foot dry van, so everybody should work with me? You're not providing anything different than anybody else. It's just like a broker. If we don't have something that differentiates us from somebody else, whether that's experience or quicker quotes or, a better this or that, no one's going to want to work with us either.
But how do you
So that's all.
expect people that start with 0 months and zero inspections? So how do you expect them to get any load period if they?
Well, the way I recommend anybody getting in this industry is, one, first, do a lot of research. Two, know that if a lot of people jumped into this industry during COVID and after because the spot market, the load boards were hot and heavy, and people could run their whole company off the load boards. That's not the way this industry was created and the way this industry works. The most successful trucking companies that start out meet a need for a direct shipper or have a in somewhere that they can get loads without having to live off the load board.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's
that's
not
all I
true
want to
because
do.
most percentage of trucking companies start off working off the load board. So if you expect them to jump in with zero inspections and zero time agent under their belt, they're cut off from 95, 96, 97% of the brokers that would work with them.
I don't think that number's true. I think you're throwing some stats out there that are not backed by facts. First of
What
all,
brokers besides Total Quality work with new carriers?
there's plenty of them. There's 22,000 brokers out there, and I would say probably, I don't know the stats. I'm not going to throw a stat out there, but there are plenty of them that will work with new brokers. There's been plenty of people say,
I
Armstrong and
don't
some other
agree with
ones. I
that.
don't know exactly because I don't know the stats. But again, a broker's not going to be able to walk in and work with every shipper either. A carrier is not going to be able to walk in and work with every broker to start out with. You work with the people that will work with you. You build a reputation, and if you wait 6 months, this is my argument why I said this earlier, is like, if you wait 6 months and age your MC that long, you're still starting at square zero.
You're not
You
though.
don't have any inspections. You're starting at square zero, meaning that the big brokers probably still won't work
Oh
with
no, they'll
you.
definitely work with you. I mean, I can tell you that with experience. And that's the whole point. Like, because I understand you and that other little Mexican dude. I don't even remember his name. I don't even know if that dude has a brokerage in the U.S. Well, whatever. Besides the point. Like you don't understand that most of the big brokers, because you guys are looking at it from a point of view, like, not trying to throw shade or anything. I know you own a brokerage, but obviously you are not one of the bigger brokerages out there, right? And all the bigger brokerages out there, 3 to 6 months, 12 months, they work with you, even if you don't have an inspection, they'll sign you on. So if a carrier could have the aging, he already got a jump start because those brokers give the majority of their freight out there on the load boards, and now that gives the carriers the key, the access to being able to at least use those brokers. Now, if you guys don't want to, you set this up, you said you want to look at, I could see if you had an F-150, whatever, that's fine. So your brokerage won't set them up. But after they age it 3, 6 months, whatever, after another 3 months, they get some inspections, so on and so on. Then brokers like you will use them after that.
Not necessarily. I mean, again, we're not just adding carriers to move loads. We're building relationships and want carriers that actually are going to give our customers the best service possible. And so, again, if you are, getting into the industry without experience and you don't have any, skin in the game necessarily or differentiating of his service, then you're gonna struggle to build relationships over the long haul with brokers or even direct shippers. My point is, for most people entering this industry, you need to get direct shippers. And most of the successful trucking companies that are able to scale and get 5, 10, 20 trucks are the ones that have 70% of their business comes from direct shippers. People jump into
Well,
this industry,
well,
they
most people
leave
with
their
5 to 10 trucks are not going to be able to get direct shipper because no direct shipper wants to work with
Yes, they
anybody.
will. Yes, they will. There are plenty of shippers out there that work with trucking companies. Only 30% of loads are moved through brokers. So there's 70% that are moving a different way, and that's what
So a
direct
person with
carriers
five
do.
trucks is going to go to a shipper. Say, for example, like my customer, right? They need 20, 30, 40 loads moved in, more loads moved in a week, right? And a
That's not
small
the only
trucking company
customer out
can't
there,
handle that.
though.
So
But there's 250,000 plus shippers in the
yeah,
world.
I understand that, but you're making it seem like it's so easy to get a shipper. Like anybody could just go out
It's
there and
not. I mean, that's the whole point.
yeah, and
It's
most of
not
them won't
easy.
even talk
So,
to you if you have 5, 10 trucks. They
right.
want to see 20, 30, 40, 50 trucks or a freight brokerage with a good TMS system, good tech. Otherwise, they won't even talk to you. And it's kind of weird that you're saying that coming from a person that owns a freight brokerage and you're making it seem like it's just that easy for them to get a customer or a shipper. It's not that easy. So most of the people are going to enter into the industry not being able to work with shippers and customers. They're going to be depending on a load board. So now, like in my opinion, you're giving bad advice because you're telling people not to age the MC and you're setting them up for failure.
Well,
Sure,
they're going to fail anyway,
that's
Bobby.
not
That's the
true, dude. I've
problem.
seen
They are
so,
going to fail anyway
dude. I'm
because
from
they don't know
Chicago,
how to run. They don't know how to run a trucking company. They don't know how to run a business in general.
but how do you
People
learn
jump
unless you jump in the deep end and learn how to
because
swim?
you're this is the one interest you do not want to enter and do a trucking company. This is the most expensive entry of any business out there, I would think, as far as you cannot learn from the school of hard knocks very easily in this industry without going out of business. And 90% of all trucking companies fail
Within 2 years.
because guys jump into the industry and don't have a clue what they're
Yeah,
doing.
but we're not talking
And
about people with no experience, like somebody come onto
well,
the
that's
street.
that's exactly what it
We're,
is,
we're,
though.
we're talking
I
about
started a
owner
box
operators
truck.
or company drivers that want, or owner operators lease to trucking companies that they want to start their own MC. That's
But
what
they
we're
don't
talking
know how to
about.
run it. They don't know how to run a trucking company. They think that they're going to make more money because they're going to become an owner operator and have their own truck, and somehow that's
But
magically
but again,
just
this is what you're saying. But 2 minutes ago, you just said they should all find their shippers and direct
they
customers.
should. That's
Yeah,
when
but
you
you're
should
saying they don't
jump
know how to
into
run a
this
business. How do you
industry.
expect them to learn to find direct customers or shippers? Though you get what I'm saying?
But they don't do the research, and then they hear someone say age your MC 6 months, and they think that all of a sudden that is going to make them successful in trucking, and
But
that is not the end.
But did
That's
you
not going
watch
to
like
make
my
them
whole video
successful.
and actually listen to what I said or
Yeah,
no?
yeah, no,
So
I did.
I also point out, save your money, make sure you have money for repairs, do this, do that. Obviously, that's not going to help you, but aging your MC at least 3, if not 6 months, is going to give you a way better percentage of a chance to succeeding than it would just jumping in
But
new
there's
because
other things that go into that, Bobby, that you don't understand that brokers are looking at when
oh,
they
I
vet a
understand
carrier,
completely. I
right?
mean,
Like that could really ultimately, like a lot of these guys are saying, I'm going to age my MC number and I'm going to run under this other authority over here, and that's completely illegal. You
no,
can't
that's
be
not
having
illegal.
two.
Well, first of
Yes,
all, you
it
can't.
is.
No, it's not because you're allowed to open up an MC legally, and then if as long as you're insured and did everything with the person you're leased onto, you are legally okay to run because
If
you're
they're
under
if
their
they do
authority.
it the correct way and actually are VIN
But
number leased
but
on their
that's what I said
insurance,
in
and
my
most of these
video.
guys don't do. I know you did, but most people don't do that. They
Yeah,
go out and
but
they have a truck, they get an MC and DOT number and insurance on their truck, and then they run underneath someone else's authority to age their MC number, which is not allowed, because that's going to link you and that other carrier as a double
Yeah, but
broker
see, but
or
this is
as
why
a.
I'm frustrated a little bit, man, because like I understand we're not like friends in real life, but I thought we're like kind of like at least like
No, we are. I mean,
yeah.
I can have a debate with people and still
No, no,
be
no. But
friends with them,
what
and
I'm trying
that's
to say
what
is like
people are
you came at me
misconstruing.
like this is a bad look on me, bad look on me, and then like you're going over stuff which I went over in my video and I told them exactly the right way to do it and how to do it and how to set themselves up for success. And then when I seen the video of you telling me this is a bad look for me, this is don't fucking do this, guys. Like you know what I mean? Then like I could have a normal
We're trying, and there was
conversation.
plenty of people in my comments, as you saw. There's been a lot of people make videos on this exact same topic that have been doing this and been in this industry for 20 plus years, like
Yeah, but you
myself.
had four people that agreed with you in my video with like probably like 8,000 views already and a bunch of thank yous. I think the number, I think I
Well,
win on this one.
it's a video that was made to get clicks and views and people to agree with you because of the
No,
carrier
it
base
wasn't.
that you
My,
have.
my
But
channel,
like,
I started my channel to help small trucking companies and owner operators.
I
To,
think that's just bad advice. That's all I'm going to say, Bobby. It's just bad advice for someone to say, I want you to enter the industry and under false pretenses, go out and get an F-150 and
but,
insure it for
but
six
how is it under
months
false pretenses? Though? That's what I don't get. Like you
because
actually,
you're not coming into the industry.
but what does it matter if you're working leased onto a company and get still have the experience and you're aging your MC, or if you're working for your MC and lose the money? So you still have the same experience regardless because you're an owner operator leased somewhere
But
else.
you're not making, here's a deal about leasing on underneath someone else's authority for 6 months too, that I didn't mention in my video, is that you are building relationships for somebody else for that period of time versus building relationships for yourself
But
and
you're not
your
going to build no
company.
relationship, Steve, because nobody's going to use you. Like you yourself just said, you wouldn't even use these carriers and new ones. You just said that they have to have something special
We
about them for
require
you.
90 days. We require 90 days. We
Exactly.
require inspections. We
But
require a lot of things because we
exactly.
want to, but what
So
I'm saying is that I started a trucking company because I saw a need from a shipper who was, using me as a broker. And then that's when I jumped in.